It's my 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4. It's got a 6.2 liter, and I was doing a little bit of work to it, and I figured I'd film a short video just because I haven't seen too many videos out there about how to fix some of these side steps, and then also enhance some of the side steps. So I bought this truck recently, and one of the things I noticed, it's got almost 70,000 miles on it, is these side steps that came as part of factory option or dealership option. They wear over time pretty well, so they're just powder coated and they don't have really a good grip on them, and when they get wet they're almost dangerous. And you can see here some of the wear that was done. You'll notice I did start sanding these a bit, but that bare metal and how patchy you see that was already there before I had made any, I had done any work on this. So a couple things I want to show in the video today is just what I'm going to do to make an improvement on these, I should say. And then also what I'm going to do to fix one of these side steps. If I walk around to the passenger side, you'll notice that this step is completely removed from the truck. And so my idea here is to get these a little bit more grippier. I bought some spray-on bed liner out of a rattle can and some primer as well. So like I mentioned, I already got a head start on this, but I said, oh, I might as well film a video. So I just put this plate back on here for the video, and you can see I already got a head start in my sanding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this plate off, just this top plate. I'll leave the aluminum tubing on the truck right there. Let's put that guy back. I'll leave the aluminum tubing on the truck. And the idea is just take these plates off and spray them with the bed liner. They should look pretty nice. Now what happened with the other step is, as I was taking out these fasteners, one of them kept spinning. And the reason why they kept spinning, I got the other step over here so I can show you. The reason why they kept spinning is these are aluminum tubing, or this is aluminum tubing, and they use riv nuts for these. So they use steel riv nuts that have the threads in them, so that way it's a nice strong fit. And what you'll see here is the one that gave me trouble on the passenger side. This one kept spinning. And so I was able to get the fastener out once I had this off the truck and was able to work with it a little bit better. But that riv nut ended up dropping in here. I'm hoping it doesn't rattle, because there's no way to open this without drilling a bigger hole and then having the riv nut drop out. So what I'll end up showing is, hopefully fixing this with a new riv nut. I bought a kit off Amazon that has the riv nut tool and comes with a bunch of different options. And we'll get that fixed. The other thing as well is, you'll notice that the brackets that mount this to the truck itself are off. And it's because I made a mistake, and hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake. Is when I first took the step off, I decided to take this off the brackets first. After taking off the step entirely, I realized it's a much easier option to just take the brackets off the truck, where this whole thing would come off with the brackets attached. And I ran into the same issue with a larger riv nut right here. So once again, the kit I bought has an assortment of riv nuts. So once that comes in, I'll go ahead and make the repair, and I'll do an update back on this video momentarily. As you saw before, we went ahead and we cleared out the old riv nuts, leaving the holes in place. And what I purchased on Amazon was this riv nut tool. Came with a large assortment of mandrels. Today we're going to use the M6, and we're also going to use a 5/16. The reason why we're mixing metric and standard is the M8 that was there, that came with a kit here, was a little bit too thin walled and had a lot of space in the slot that was already drilled out. So what I did is I went to my local hardware store and I was looking for an M8, and I wasn't able to find any metric riv nuts at the hardware store there. But what they did have in stock was a standard, which was the 5/16. what's fortunate enough and what works for me is because this is going to be on the underside of the step and the bracket that goes onto the step. This is a 1/2 inch head, and it's going to be the same as the 13 as the other one. So I'm fine with it on my truck, just to use the standard thread mixed in with the metric. But let's go ahead and get this patched up. So the way that you use this tool is that you put on the proper mandrel, you take your riv nut, and you open this up. You're going to screw this on, so that way it's nice and tight. And then once we have it in the slot that was drilled out, we're going to squeeze this, crimping the riv nut onto the step. And this has a knurl on it so that it should grip and shouldn't allow the riv nut to spin. All right, let's go install it. There we go. All set. Let's do the next one. All right, I got the next riv nut here. This is a 5/16/18 thread. It's for the bracket onto the step here. Let's get this one installed. All right, get that guy installed. We're all set. So I'm in my basement here. It's pretty cold outside. I want to paint in the cold temperature out there. I got a fan for some ventilation for when I go and spray here. It'll help a little bit, but I'm just working with what I got. I got the steps here. As you saw before, they're prepped. I just did a quick scuff job with some sandpaper. This was already pretty much bare from just 67 miles on the truck and getting in and out and whatever sand on the boots and just scuffing this all up. So some of the prep that we're gonna do before we go ahead and spray on this bed liner, this protective coating bed liner, is some prep work with some self-etching primer. So I just picked this up at my local hardware store, and the main thing I'm focused on is to make sure that any bare metal is going to be covered with this stuff. So that way the Raptor Liner has a good base to build on and bond to. I scuffed the powder coat here, that should be fine, but once again I'm going to focus on just patching up the bare metal spots with some primer. So let's go ahead and do that. I already shook up this can pretty good. I'm gonna start with kind of a medium coat. And that bed liner lays on thick, so I mean, normally this would be poor prep for any type of paint job, but because the way that that bed liner gets put on, I'm not too concerned about high, low spots, etc. I just want to make sure that any of the flaked off powder coat was off, and that whatever was left was stuck on there pretty good. All right, I'm doing this with one hand, holding the camera with the other, so trying to hit all the spots. That looks pretty good. All right. We're gonna let this dry for a few minutes and then we'll hit it with another coat. And then once it's completely dry, I'm gonna scuff it a little bit with some light sandpaper. and then we should be able to spray our Raptor Liner on here. We'll be back shortly. Alright, so I'm back in my garage because it's a mild day today, and as you can see, we got the metal etch primer on the steps for some prep for when I go spray this Raptor bed liner on. What I did was I just scuffed up that primer so that we can make a nice surface for this bed liner to adhere to. What I'll do is I'll spray on the first coat, give an update, and then we'll come back and do a second coat. I'm not going to film necessarily spraying this because I want to make sure that I get it right, using not really down one hand, so we'll be back shortly. Looks like it went on pretty good. So I'm going to let this tack up for 20 minutes, as the directions say, and then we'll spray our final second coat to get this done. So looking pretty good so far. I do have a darker spot right there, but hopefully the second coat will even this out a little bit more. All right, we'll update back after the second coat. So we're back here. I just put on the second coat of this Raptor Liner. It went on nice and evenly, we'll say. And the texture really came out with that second coat. I was a little skeptical after the first one, but you get a nice even spray, and you hold down that spray can all the way through from left to right, right to left, to really get like 3 overlapping stripes on here, and it blends perfectly. So be really excited once this is all dried up, and we'll show it back on the truck once we bolt it back on. Back in my basement. These plates that I sprayed the bed liner on came out real nice. It's been about 7 days since I sprayed them. They cured up real good. What I also did while I had the steps off was I ended up taking off the driver's side because I wanted to clean that up a little bit, because this step right here, this step right here was the passenger side one. That was already off the truck, as you know. And because I had the brackets off, I ended up spraying them black and cleaning them up a bit. And then what I did was I just added my own touch. I ended up doing like not a full coat, but more than a dusting, I guess, of red paint behind the Sierra logo. So I did that on both the steps. So I ended up pulling the driver's step off. Once again, remember, when you take these steps off, don't take the brackets off the step to take the step off. Take the whole bracket and step off together by these 2 bolts that are bolted to the body of your truck. Or the frame of your truck, I should say. So I think they came out awesome. They definitely look like they're worth the $900 factory option, or dealer option, if you will. I think they look great. So I'm gonna get them on the truck, and then we'll just do a quick recap and review. Finished up the work on the side steps for Sierra here. I think they came out better than new, especially with the improvement of doing the bed liner on that plate right there. It's a much better grip than just powder coat, and my touch of the red paint fits right in with that 6.2 emblem. Overall, I'm really happy with how it came out. Spent about, I think, $70 on the 2 cans of the bed liner. You only need 1 can if you're gonna do just those plates like I did. You can see the other side. Also, it was a 5-minute repair job with replacing those riv nuts. The hardest part was just getting the old ones out. Unfortunately, I had to have one drop through on this, so I don't think it will rattle. If anything, it will probably get stuck to the back of the step and just stay there. But overall, really happy with how it came out. It was some quick work, and definitely happy with the outcome. So plan on doing a couple more videos coming up with the truck. But that's gonna do it for this one. Catch you guys on the next one.